What is up, and welcome to SGPN's The Daily Dog. I'm your host, Britton Hess. I'm here with my favorite Underdog fantasy pick and plays for Friday, November 22nd, 2024. Guess what? We're also going to do a couple slips for Saturday, the 23rd, and also one for NFL Sunday, the 24th. I mean, come on, how could I not give you an NFL slip going into the weekend? It has been a frustrating week for our Underdog pick-em slips, but that's why using all the promos they have with deposit bonuses, with boosts, so you make sure you're getting extra money when you do hit a slip, is beneficial. And then obviously, if you're one of the people who max deposited $2,000 with that promo code DailyDog, DAILYDOG, you get that $1,000 deposit match bonus. You've got lots of money to play with. So when you have a slow week like the one I've had this week, God, I hate talking about it because there's been some close calls and some frustrating plays that didn't come home, but it is what it is. You got to keep nose to the grindstone, and we're a volume shooter. So when it rains, it pours both ways, good and bad. And this week has been bad. But that said, I've got enough on the board for this weekend. I think we are going to turn our fortunes here. All right. College Football Friday. We're going to start out with Aidan, Chiles, higher than 1.5 passing TDs. Michigan State quarterback against Purdue. Purdue is one of the worst teams in FBS. Purdue's defense is a sieve. Aidan Chiles is a quarterback that's getting better week by week, I think. I mean, he's not elite yet or by any means, but there's a reason why Jonathan Smith took him with him from Oregon State to Michigan State. Give me Aidan Chiles higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns here. Then we're going to go to Robert Henry, the UTSA running back, higher than 16.5 rush yards against Temple. Temple's defense stinks. Temple stinks overall. This is a great spot for the running back who had 127 yards last week to continue his hot streak and get 61 yards here. That's all we need, higher than 60.5 rush yards for Robert Henry of UTSA. Then we're going to a guy that's an old faithful of ours, a guy that we use quite a bit, Hajj-Malik Williams, higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns. Hajj-Malik Williams, quarterback for the UNLV running Rebs, the running UNLV Rebels. They're not running Rebs anymore, I guess, but or that's the basketball team. But give me the Hajj-Malik Williams, higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns against San Jose State. Hopefully we get a barn burner here. If you're not aware of San Jose State, they actually have a really fun offense as well. You get their quarterback is great. Nick Nash, probably the best wide receiver in the country right now. Even better than Ricky White, one of the guys who's going to be catching passes for Hajj-Malik Williams. But yeah, Hajj-Malik Williams higher than 1.9 passing touchdowns. That college football slip is a 5.8x multiplier. Again, that was Aidan Chiles higher than 1.5 passing TDs, Robert Henry higher than 60.5 rushing yards, and Hajj-Malik Williams higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns. 5.8x. All right. NBA on Friday. NBA has been the bane of my existence lately, to be honest. Just had a couple good slips come through in a row, and then all of a sudden I've just been like hitting a brick wall. What is up with Jalen Duren, man? That dude is so hard to get a read on. Sometimes I'm like, man, he's just a board machine. He's going to get 15 boards a game. Can't be stopped. And then there's a game like he had yesterday where he played like 14 minutes in the first half. Hardly played in the second half, then finally got involved in overtime and still ended with 9 rebounds. We only needed 10, we needed 10.5. So whatever. Enough about sore losses. NBA today, Joel Embiid higher than 27.5 points. Obviously, you worry about a blowout in this spot. You worry about Joel Embiid minutes restriction, all that good stuff. I think that in this spot versus the Nets, they're just going to let him go ham for 3 quarters, and in 3 quarters he can score 30 plus points. So higher than 27.5 is a good spot. Hopefully there's not blowout. Hopefully he's playing till the end. But again, I think that just he's trying to make up for lost time. He's going to have a lot of big games in these coming weeks when he's getting back his legs back under him. And then, he'll probably get soft and try to rest a little bit moving forward as he starts to feel the wear and tear of playing multiple games a week for a couple weeks straight. Going Trae Young, higher than 2.5 3-pointers made. It's a enhanced multiplier, 1.04x spicy, a scorcher multiplier there. Trae Young, when you just need 3 3-pointers from Trae Young, I don't care if his hand is literally amputated. The volume is going to be there for him to make this happen. Obviously, his shooting numbers are not ideal this year. He's obviously not very efficient this year, but I don't think he forgot to shoot. I think he can still shoot. I think that there's going to be plenty of games where he, has 6+ 3-pointers this season. So getting 3 right here is not something I'm going to be fretting about. Give me Trae Young higher than 2.5 3-pointers made. Last one, Domantas Sabonis of the Kings playing against the Clippers, higher than 0.5 double-doubles. Just get your 10 rebounds, get your 10 boards. Hey, get 10 assists just to rub it in. I don't care. But this is a fairly conservative slip, to be honest. Joel Embiid, 27.5 points, higher. Trae Young, higher than 2.5 3-pointers made. And Domantas Sabonis, higher than half of a double-double. 4.49x multiplier. Pretty straightforward on that one. NHL Friday. We're just going to go with some big dogs here. Sidney Crosby higher than half a point. Kyle Connor higher than half a point. Those guys are both playing in the same game. Obviously, Sidney Crosby is the dude, and then Kyle Connor is just the point leader for his team, or at least he's been up there on a game by game basis. Sorry, I'm like losing my voice here. It's a little bit early for me, I guess I could say. But Kyle Connor of this Jets team, he's no longer actually the points leader. I don't know why I said that, but he is a big time points getter for this team. He's right behind Mark, or I know they're tied. That's why. Okay, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, what, am I drunk? Him and Mark Sheffield have 24 points each, 12 goals, 12 assists each. So Kyle Connor and Sidney Crosby higher than half a points each in that Penguins Jets game. And then we're going to go to Troy Terry, my dude from the Ducks. The Ducks, most underrated team in the NHL, in my opinion. Higher than half of a point in that one against the Sabres. I think the Ducks being plus 130 underdogs is a joke, so I love the Ducks there. All right, UFC starts at midnight Pacific, 3 a.m. Eastern on Friday night / Saturday morning, however you want to qualify that. So we got a slip that's going to be if you're a psycho like me, you'll be up late watching it. If you're not, then it's just going to be awake and you wake up and you watch, or you wake up and watch your account grow. So we're going to go Zhang Mingyang higher than half of a knockout against Ozzy Diaz. This dude is a slugger. He wasted no time in his UFC debut. He did in the road to UFC. He was crushing dudes. On the regional scene, he was crushing dudes. He's on a long winning streak, long KO streak. Mingyang Zhang higher than 0.5 knockouts. Then we're going to go to Cong Wang higher than 0.5 knockouts. It's a woman. You don't necessarily try to bank on knockout props for women, but she's an elite kickboxer. How elite? She beat Valentina Shevchenko, who's one of the best women MMA fighters of all times in kickboxing. Wang beat Shevchenko in Shevchenko's last pro kickboxing match. Since then, she moved to MMA full time. Was like, F this. I don't need to be dealing with girls like Cong Wang. Well, Cong Wang followed her. It's like the women's division answer to Alex Pereira and Israel Adesanya. So Cong Wang higher than half a knockouts against Gabriela Fernandez. Last one, Petr Yan versus Deiveson Figueiredo. A little bit of a grudge match, or not a grudge match, but a little bit of an interesting spot, right? Petr Yan was obviously one of the great guys in the bantamweight division. He had an interim title. He basically was beating Aljamain Sterling's butt for the title, and then had an illegal knee, and it was taken from him. Then had a couple tough losses. Meanwhile, Deiveson Figueiredo fought Brandon Moreno 4 times. They had a draw. Moreno won twice, and Figueiredo won once. Crazy series there, but Figueiredo's a former 125-pound champ down in the flyweights, the fly guys. He's moved up to bantamweight, and he's looked good. He has a lot of finishing potential. He's really powerful. His power hasn't necessarily translated fully up to the bigger division, but also he's probably growing into this his size and at this weight a little bit. And also, Jan is a volume striker, and Figueiredo does have the propensity to gas out a little bit. But at the same time, Figueiredo has tons of submission. So I think getting an enhanced multiplier on this thing to not go the distance is a beautiful place to be in. So this UFC overnight card for Friday night, this slip is Zhang Mingyang, higher than half a knockout, Cong Wang higher than half a knockout, and Petr Yan fight time lower than 24.99 minutes, 8.26x multiplier. All right. We got through Friday. Now let's get to Saturday. I'm going through different languages and pronunciations. Hank Bachmeier, quarterback for Wake Forest against Miami, higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns. Miami is pretty good, but they definitely have some holes on the defense. They definitely let teams score. Bachmeier is a slinger, higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns for me. Next, we're going to go to Noah Fifita, higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns versus TCU. TCU, not a great defense, not a great team this year. Arizona kind of getting a little bit of momentum. I don't want to, go crazy and say that they're a good team now or anything like that, but Noah Fifita is definitely a good quarterback, and he's getting a little bit more comfortable with guys outside of Tezeroa McMillan. So give me Noah Fifita higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns versus TCU. Then we go to Rocco Becht, higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns versus Utah. Utah is just cooked. Rocco Becht of Iowa State, he can tear this defense up. And hey, the Iowa State Cyclones, they were on fire, then they hit a wall, and now it's time to break through the other side of that wall. And doing that against Utah is something that is very achievable. This is a 7.39x multiplier. Again, that was Hank Bachmeier, higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns. Noah Fifita, higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns. Rocco Becht, higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns. 7.39x. Nice little juicy one. Speaking of juicy, our juiciest slip of the week is going to be on Sunday. Anthony Richardson, higher than half a rushing plus receiving touchdown against the Lions. Anthony Richardson is the short yardage back for the Colts. They're not going to have let's just say that there's garbage opportunity. There's maybe shootout opportunity in this game. Richardson has a great shot at getting a rushing touchdown here. That's I'll just leave it at that. Sam Darnold higher than half of an interception versus the Bears. Too easy. But Darnold's not protecting the ball well. He's kind of turning back into his old self. He's been doing it for like 2 months now after a hot start. This should not be a scorcher, but it is. Sam Darnold higher than half an interception. Last one. Mike Evans higher than half a rushing and receiving touchdown in his return game for the Buccaneers against the Giants. Giants are starting Tommy DeVito. Good for them. But it's not going to be enough. And also Mike Evans, he's got to make up for lost time if he wants to keep the crazy pace he's had for the first several years of his career. I think 11 years of his career. So give me Mike Evans higher than half a rushing plus a receiving touchdown here, 9.29x. All right, we got 6 slips to get you through the weekend. If you're new to Underdog, sign up with the promo code DailyDog for that 50% deposit match bonus worth up to $1,000. That's all I got for you today. Let's make some money.